God damn it, David Filoni. Thank you for directing this. I don't know how much we're going to talk about this episode today, but everything in here hits me in the feels, and I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Alive!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cantina Corner here on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to the channel if you're a returning member. If not, thank you for giving a like or dislike on this video. And if you want to consider joining, I would highly recommend, I don't know. Would appreciate it if you do, and help us out in the algorithm, and we can grow this channel, grow this family, and more people can come in and comment. We appreciate the comments that we've had recently. Obviously, some of them have been critiques. That's okay. We love the interaction, and we love being able to interact back with you and get some feedback. But with that, we are doing another episode here of the Boba Fett show, or I should say Mandalorian / Boba Fett, episode 6, which is the what would we say, the semifinal episode, because we've got one left here, number 7.
One left, baby.
So yeah, we're gonna get into that today. Obviously, do our 1 out of 10 and break down from start to finish, as we're getting better at doing. We started doing that last episode. But before we get into anything, how are you, gentlemen? How has everything been?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Fantastic.
I'm doing great.
I had a great day today, great evening, and I'm ready to talk about a great.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
Our last episode killed it. You guys were killing it. The views almost 150 for us. That's like fucking. That's big time. We do it.
Huge.
Helps us do it. Huge. Even if those views were from China.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We love it.
I'll take 150 out of how many billion they got. I'll take it.
Yeah.
No, it's been great. I really, like Cody said, he's the one that has all the info and the analytics, and he usually shares it with us. So thank you so much for everyone that's been, coming to the video. Even if you had issues with what we say the video is, with comments and stuff, and saying it's not a real reaction review, that's how we're titling it, because that's how we want to do it. If you don't like it,
it's still a reaction review. We're literally
talking
about our reactions to the episode as we watched it, while we review like parts of the episode.
I know, but people get anal when it comes to react channels because they want to see what you're watching. Well, unfortunately, if you want to watch the content yourself, pay for it. If you want to hear someone talk about it, you can come here.
There's other channels for it. Sorry.
Yeah, there's other videos that do that.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But for everyone that does like this, thank you. If you don't and you're still watching, cool too.
We're not phony. We're Filoni.
We're not Filoni baloney.
Filoni baloney. Hey, everyone, this guy's a Filoni. But yes, thank you for that. It was a great week having the interactions and the viewership on that. So hopefully we can keep that up. If you are a fan of this channel, share it out. Let's get some more people in here for some more Star Wars stuff, because after what we talk about today, I have high hopes for even more shows, even though I know Disney's going to do it. So let's break down this episode 6, Stranger from the Desert. Wasn't that what the episode name was called? Okay, I thought I had that correct.
Stranger from the Desert.
Yeah, Stranger from the Desert, episode 6. And what do we got? What are we doing on a rating here? 1 out of 10. I know.
Who's up first? I totally forgot.
It's Cody, because I think you were.
All right.
Yeah, you were up last time.
Do it up.
It's like a 9.8.
Wow. Okay. I knew you were going to go high, but I didn't know if you were going to go that high.
I can't give it a 10 because nothing's a 10, right? And you got nothing to do.
That's true. There's going to be something.
Some things can be a 10. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. There's nothing wrong with having a 10 here and there.
Yeah, not on my scale, dude. Not on my scale.
All right. I'm just saying, dude. You asked a question.
Even if I saw the face of God, I'd be like, it's a 9.
Some imperfections in there. Nose a little too big.
I see a guy like that outside of Whole Foods. It ain't nothing special.
Yeah, so I absolutely fucking love this episode. I said this to some of my family already. I think this is the single best thing content-wise of Star Wars that has come out of Disney. This episode.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
That is high praise. Okay. What are you thinking, Nick? What do you got?
I had pretty much about a 9.5. It was fucking
okay,
good.
So not far off.
No, best episode so far.
Wow. Okay. Because I was gonna say I thought we were gonna say that this was a best episode, but because for me it was like best episode, but in its own way, which obviously we'll break down and we can
Yeah.
discuss that.
Yeah,
Because
still, because it wasn't like a full on Boba Fett episode again. It was kind of like one of
Who
those.
cares?
But that's what at this point I'm like, all right, whatever. That's what they're giving us. I'm gonna take it. So, and it was good. Like it was still good, even
It's still
even in
part
its
of
own
the
way like
story,
that.
though.
Yeah.
They're all connected. Boba Fett was in the Mandalorian. They're all connected.
yeah, it is. But the thing with Boba Fett being in the Mandalorian is that he was only in like what, one episode, 1.5, and it was just to like bring him back so that we can get this show and like integrate him back into the storyline, as opposed to this where we're getting full blown out episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
And considering we've already gotten 2 seasons of The Mandalorian and we're finally excited to get something Boba Fett related, and we're getting 2 episodes where he's not even in them. So it's good.
he was in
and it
this
makes
episode,
sense.
dude. He was in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. It wasn't
So
Fennec.
I realized too what his stupid ass little street squad, what they remind me of every time I see them. You know who exactly they fucking are? From Anchorman 2, the MTV crew with the fight in the park. That's exactly who his little squad reminds me of, dude. They're
That's
like
true.
the MTV like street crew of Star Wars or some shit like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but just like, you know, like that what do they call that? Cyberpunk type stuff just attached to
Yeah.
him.
When I see that dude, I'm like, oh, it's Kanye West from Anchorman 2.
I gotta look up the name of it, but they always remind me. You guys might actually remember when we were younger in the '90s. There was a cartoon show where rats were on motorcycles.
Yes.
That's what they remind me of. But
I don't know what
it is.
I don't remember what it's
I don't know
called,
if
but I do
that
remember
show.
that. That was like around the same time they had Street Sharks, where they had those
Yeah.
guys that got turned into sharks and fought crime.
I don't think I ever watched Street Sharks.
Street Sharks was pretty dope. They even had
Was
like
this
Street
not-
Shark hand puppets that you could
Was
do.
this like was this on cable or regular TV?
I think it was on cable or regular. I don't know. It was like on the WB network back when they
Biker
used to do
mice, bro.
Biker
Animaniacs and stuff like that, like back then.
It was, oh man,
I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
you'll
don't
be
know. I
able
don't
to see
remember.
this.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
Biker
Yeah,
mice,
Biker
bro.
Mice.
That's what they remind me of when I see it.
So
All I-
just two stupid ass things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got them back, but we'll go into the breakdown of everything. But for me, I was gonna give this it was like a 9.5. You know, I'm obviously taking away that 0.5 because of the Fett thing. You know, we didn't get a lot of Fett in this. I thought we were gonna get like an even split on this episode now that we got Mando back. So that's where I stand on it. Everything was beautiful and perfect in the episode, but I'm only taking away points because of that.
Okay.
For me.
Fair enough.
So with that, we will get into our breakdown. So we're going to do the best to start from beginning to end like we did last episode. We're going to try to get better at that. So I think obviously last one did really well.
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah, spoilers. That's another reason I'm saying it. You got about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm talking about everything important. Okay, so
First picture.
we get the intro of the episode. We're on Tatooine, right? We've got the Pike Syndicate there farming spice. They're about to leave. They loaded up those crates. They had 2 crates. I think one was credits, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
one
then
was
the other
credits.
one,
They had made a sale. Yep.
yeah, one was credits and the other one was spice. And then we get Cobb Vance rolling up, doing his
AKA
old
your
West.
father.
Huh?
That dude reminds me of your dad every time I see him.
I could kind of see that.
Every time. I'm always like, man, Adam's dad could do a killer cosplay of this dude.
I should do it because honestly, when we were watching it and he saw him, he's like, I'm really glad they got him for this show. And so I'm gonna tell him, be like, it's you.
Yeah.
Like Timothy Oliphant is one of my favorite actors, so I love that he's in the Star Wars
Same.
universe.
I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, Timothy
Yeah.
Oliphant. He's always been a great actor. I've loved him all the way back into like when he was in Scream 2, like way back in the day. So he comes in and he does his Western thing, protecting his town because he's still the sheriff of the same town that we saw in the Mandalorian.
Freetown.
Yeah, now it's Freetown. Freetown. We changed it. Which kind of was a corny name, but
Yeah, it was funny.
we'll talk about that when it gets to that point in the episode. And so he tells him basically like, you need to get the hell out of here. Like, we'll just chalk this up to a loss. You leave what you found and you let them know no one's coming through here or you're just going to end up missing. They don't like it. He shoots them, does cool. But they had a lot of Western moments in this, which I really
Mhm.
love because that's everything that this, you know, the Mandalorians were based off of is that Western style of like gunfight, gunplay. So I love that it was very heavy in this episode and it started off right like that. The Wild West, get out of here. And so he kills them. One of them leaves and then he just dumps the spice, which I was surprised.
It
I
shows
thought
that he's not about the money.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised just
I
because
loved
I
it.
like you could tell his attitude that whole time like was get this shit off my streets like pretty much.
well, I thought that he was not going to use it so much more about the money as he would use it as leverage if they tried to come back and like, you know, he basically said, get the hell out of here, but I'll have this. So if they come back and try to pull some shit, I could just be like, look, I'll give you this back if you just like fuck off. That's what I thought he was going to do, not sell it necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
Because obviously they want it. That's the whole reason they're there is to farm spice. And if he's holding something that the Pike syndicate member said is this is worth more than your town, obviously that's you could use it as leverage. But I digress. You know, he kicked it over, which makes sense too. And then right after that, we get the N1 going to.
Where's it going, bro?
Where's it going? Someone
Where's it
tell
going?
me. Where's it going? I don't know the planet name.
I don't
but
know what planet it is.
I don't either, but I would assume it was the forest moon of Endor. That's my assumption.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
At first, I was like, it could be Yavin because of the way the mountains were, but then I was like, nah, it kind of looks like it could be Endor because I could have swore you could hear Ewoks at one point, like in the background. So
The bamboo threw me off though.
bamboo very strong.
And then is that like the first Jedi temple he builds too? Like
Yeah, so
do
that
we
is
know-
actually
do
the
we know what-
temple that
so
is
do we know what
burning in The
planet
Force
they're-
Awakens.
I was curious too if that
Yep.
was the case when it was
Yeah.
like going on.
Yeah, that's the exact temple. Because the minute I saw it like getting that oval shape, I was like, I did the Leonardo up. Yeah. Which I thought was cool to see that being built and you know seeing R2.
R2,
And
man.
The minute I saw that thing peering up, I was like, it's
Wasting no
it's
time. And
fucking-
the ant droids, bro.
those
the
are sweet.
fuck? Those are
Yeah,
dope.
Yeah, when the androids, Mando comes in and he sees all these like, you know, like spider ant droids sitting there building the place, which is kind of cool because it's like you don't even have to build it yourself. And then he makes the bench and he's like, oh, is that a bench? Like, how long am I
Yeah.
going to be here? Because he's there to see Grogu, you know? And so he goes to sleep. And then we get that amazing moment where we get to see what hiring people that know what they're doing can do to a character that is not that young.
Yeah.
'Cause we get Luke sitting there with Grogu. And did you guys know about that? That the original Luke that we had in Mandalorian is now being CGI'd or deep faked by a person that did it better on YouTube. And that's who
Yes.
they had. Disney hired that guy, and that's why it looks so good
Disney
now.
didn't hire him.
I thought they did.
Filoni and Favreau hired him.
Okay, but yeah,
be real.
under Disney's umbrella, yeah, they're
It
the
was
ones
good.
that.
It was solid as hell. Like
It was great.
the only time that you could tell it was like I obviously for this part they had somebody else doing it was when he was jumping around like you know doing their training or whatever.
Yeah,
One part in the scene he jumps real close to the camera. You get a close up of his face and you're like, okay, yeah, that's somebody completely different. But other than that, like it was fucking solid.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
And I really liked that they had him talking in certain times, and most of his talking was not a close up on Luke.
mm-hmm.
So because that's where I could tell the difference is some of the you could tell it wasn't him necessarily talking. You know what I mean? And the voice wasn't like perfect, but the cadence was fucking on point.
Yeah.
Yes, that
for
was
sure.
the big thing. It was like you said, the cadence and the flow of how he talked was good enough to give you that illusion where if you just weren't
Yeah.
paying attention to it, it fit
And the
fine.
first time I watched it, I just got sucked into it. I was just like, "This is fucking
Mhm.
incredible."
It sounded like Luke from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like legit.
It wasn't until the second time I watched it where I really paid attention to it because I just let myself get fucking sucked into it the first time.
Not to mention, even though that's being deep faked, whoever the actor is, the demeanor, the voice, everything is exactly like Return of the Jedi. Everything about it was like spot on.
It's the dude that was in the other X-wing.
That's right. Yeah,
Uh,
I did find that out. The two X-wings,
Skinny dude.
Nick, that
Okay.
pulled up and tried to like arrest Mando or whatever. The one that was originally talking, he was the one that was Luke back in the Mando series, and they brought him in, and then they brought him back as that cameo, and
Yeah.
then he's still doing it.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yes. So I mean, kudos to that guy because he's the mannerisms, the hand movements, like everything. Because even though that's being deep faked on him, he still has to make all of that happen, and then it's just mapped someone else's face
Yep.
on top of it. So he's doing an incredible job getting the whole Luke mannerisms down. But everything in the interaction between Luke and Grogu when he's trying to teach him, the comparisons to what it was, where it was a reversal on Yoda and everything like that was just so I was like tearing up almost.
Yeah. I'll say this, like I loved when they were sitting there meditating and Grogu gets distracted by the frog, and then like Luke kind of shows him like, if you listen to what I'm saying, look at all the frogs you can have, like lifts them all up in that area. That was awesome. And I want to say this too, because we were talking about this so fast, I totally blew by it.
Sorry.
When you watch it again, I want you guys' opinion on this. I've been waiting to see a TikTok on this where somebody breaks it down hardcore, but I'm almost positive when he lands the N1 right there, that fucking giant body of water, I'm pretty positive Luke's X-Wing's inside that water. Because there's a little like piece of the wing that's like sticking out top. Like the second time I watched it, so I was like, I'm pretty sure his X-Wing's under that water. Because that's where he hit his X-Wing in the movies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think about that until you just said it. I was like, it would make sense if they're doing that as a callback to that's how he's hiding things. Plus, if you think about it too, he may do that because back in the day, when he was on Yavin, was Yavin 4? No, where Yoda was living.
Dagobah.
Thank you. His X-Wing sunk, and like part of what he eventually learned to do is be able to like lift it out of the swamp. So maybe that's almost like why he hides it in the water, because that's kind of like back to his beginnings.
Keeps him humble.
Yeah.
So fucking humble.
If I don't stay on my craft, I'll never be able to get my craft out of the water.
Luke's the one to need, stay humble. He used those emotions to turn Vader back, so proving that Jedi can do it.
Yeah, he said, sit down, be humble.
Yep.
But everything in the interaction with Luke and Grogu was amazing. The music, every time they had that selective music that would just roll in between the stuff they've had Mandalorian to the callbacks to the original, I was just in overload. I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it.
I love the flashback and Luke kind of like showing him his memories that he like kind of forgot.
Order 66,
which is like,
bro.
Yeah, it was sweet seeing that flashback, and then it makes you wonder too, like how Grogu lost his memory. Like, did somebody like suppress it themselves, or like is he like did he get like a bump on the head or something like that? Yeah, or like I don't know, maybe he cut himself off. Like, it's because now we know for sure he is from from there. He was in the Jedi Temple, so
yeah.
I don't know. I thought that part was sweet. Just Luke showing him all that, his memories and shit.
I think to answer that question, I think they kind of foreshadowed it a little bit because I won't say who said it because we're not there yet, but someone said, you're training him well. And he goes, I don't think it's so much me training him well as much as he's just remembering. So I think that's kind of just, if it's not suppressed, it's just he doesn't realize that it's like back there and he hasn't focused on it whatsoever.
Yeah,
like PTSD almost.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting because I mean he is like what they said, like he's like over 50 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. But yeah, so all that happens and then we get Mando laying on that bench, taking a nice nap, relaxing as Grogu and Luke are sitting there doing their training. We get that whole montage. Oh, by the way, when they did that montage and he puts him on his back like a backpack, it was ear to ear smiles. And right away I was like, do the flip, do the flip, do the flip. And then when he's running through and he just does the backpack flip and keeps running, I was like, he did it. It was like that moment from Deadpool, superhero landing, superhero. I was so happy. Which was a nice callback. But then, like I said, we get Mando laying on the bench, taking a nap, waiting because he doesn't know what the hell's going on. R2 shut himself off. He's like, all right, well, I guess I just sit here and wait. You hear a noise, and who do we get? Someone I did not expect.
Oh, I called this on the last podcast, dude.
Yeah, we talked about it. Even my girlfriend said something about it, and when I looked at her, I was like, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, I know you called it out, but like I still didn't expect it to happen.
I didn't once we were on that planet with R2 and you knew Luke and Grogu were there. I did not expect Ahsoka to be there at that point.
Yeah, because when she popped up, I literally because I was watching this at like 6 a.m. I got off work, couldn't sleep, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it now instead of waiting until I wake up. And I was sitting here like deadpan as a screen, excited, and I see her, and I was like, what? Excuse me? It's like, am I that tired? Like, what's happening? Just to see her was great. I mean, I have watched enough of Clone Wars to know enough of the mannerisms of Ahsoka. Obviously, I haven't watched every episode, but I watched enough of the end and some of the beginning to know how she acts, the facial expressions and things like that, that she's doing a phenomenal job capturing like her attitude, her like vibe and everything like that. But obviously you guys know more than I do as far as that. Like, is she like hitting it out of the park? now that we've gotten her away from like the darkness of Mandalorian, we kind of saw a more lighter side of like just her being herself.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty hard for her not to be. I mean, Dave Filoni created the character, so she's got like the ultimate fucking tool right there. Like, hey, well, how do you think she would react to this? I mean, Ahsoka is very level-headed. She doesn't consider herself a Jedi. She doesn't consider herself anything, but just she moves
Like a
within the
Force
ways of the
user
Force.
almost,
Yeah,
like-
she's not like a gray Jedi. There's nobody who's like considered a gray Jedi, but she's as close as we've got. Because she's literally just finds that balance. She's okay with doing certain things that aren't technically Jedi ways, but she's also respects
like
ways of
slaughtering
the Jedi.
younglings.
Yeah.
Like slaughtering younglings.
I just kidding. She's not on board with that. She does not approve.
Hey, listen, we don't judge what people do on their Wednesdays, okay?
Facts.
Sometimes you gotta blow steam off, and it happens.
What happens if you don't pass the class, Master?
That right there
Ahsoka?
reminds me, I got to show you guys something after this. It'd be really quick, but I got to show you something.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I love seeing her back. I love seeing that whole. She was kind of giving Mando training because she talks to Mandalorian. He wants to give Grogu the gift. Obviously, he wants to see Grogu. There's that connection, and you start getting like that feeling of like, oh my god, like there's like so much going with this, and you feel it for him. Like you hear it in his voice in some of the lines. And she's like, are you doing this for you? Or are you doing it for him? Like he's trying to train. He's like, well, he's a foundling. And she goes, well, maybe now he's a Padawan. He's not a foundling anymore. Like she's trying to give him that option. Like maybe you should think about it for a minute that like, he's not in your care. So things have changed. And it would hurt him more, almost like the old saying they say, if you love it, let it go. If you love that person, let them go. You can't force it. So that's kind of what she was trying to instill in him. And he makes the decision, okay, fine, make sure he's protected and gives her the item that he wants. But the moment I knew that he did a good job with the voice, because you don't see his face. So he's only acting with his voice. And I thought this was amazing, is when she says, maybe you shouldn't do this. And he's like, but I've come all this way. And like right when he said that line, I was like, oh, I hear the pain in his voice.
Yeah.
He's like, but I've come all this way. Like he's right there. Like you could hear it. And if you go back and watch it, it's just like, I'm like, that was so micro, but so big.
It's one of the most emotional scenes in the whole episode. It's very heavy.
Yeah,
very heavy. You could feel it. Both actors are doing a fucking phenomenal job there. And that was an emotional scene. I almost cried. I won't even lie. I was
tearing up.
It was a heavy
Nick
scene.
said, I don't feel shit.
Yeah, Nick's a bitch, dude.
I wasn't tearing up for that, no.
I did cry during this episode. I'll tell you right now, I did.
It was portrayed very well, but I wasn't going to cry.
I did cry during this episode.
Pimps don't cry.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. It's a pimp.
Shh. That was a call out to the other guys. If you haven't seen that movie, go see it. Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, must see. Highly quotable. The greatest comedy of all time. So he gives him the gift and or gives her the gift and peels out. And right when he peels out of the N1 Naboo starfighter, you see Grogu seeing the ship peel out, and he like reaches out and he's like doing that thing because he feels that he's there. And I was like, oh my god, my heart, like I was hurting. It was like a custody battle. Like Dad's leaving. I don't want to be here with Mom. Like
no, it's not like a custody
that might
battle.
make Nick cry, dude.
Let me burst your bubble, dude. It's not like a custody battle, okay?
Okay. This is what I thought. I was just like, he's got two parents and it's tough. He doesn't know what to do. So that happens. Obviously we get I'm trying to remember, I've seen it twice. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right after
more
that,
training.
Yes, there was more training with the little droid, the floating droid, the remote. Yes. So we get the call back to the original remote.
Hold on before that, dude.
Okay, go ahead.
We get the scene where I cried, dude.
Okay. I might have skipped. Like I said, I watched it twice, but
You're
trying to
kind of jumping, but it's okay.
All right, well, humble me.
When he scales up the bamboo and they're overlooking the thing, and I can't even explain why this happens to me, but when the Force theme hits, like I immediately get goosebumps.
I started tearing up.
Like emotionally, I literally cried. Like it wasn't even like I was sad, or it was just like, this is perfect. That to me was like one of the most perfect scenes of all time. He's talking about balance, showing them like the planet. the Force theme hit, and I was just like, this is fucking greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Especially the fact that like the wind starts blowing, he's just sitting there and like he closes his eyes, just takes it in, and you're just
both
like,
of them
I want
do.
to.
Luke does, and then Grogu does. And I was like, Jesus, this is perfection right here.
But once you hear that dun dun, dun, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like,
The
Daddy
musical
Luke,
score
take
in
me.
this episode was just spot on.
See, that's funny because right after all of this whole episode, which we're not done talking about, but right when I saw directed by Dave Filoni, I was like, that makes sense. I was like, everything in here is like his bread and butter.
Yeah.
That he's just like, oh, you're a fan? I'm gonna pull on your heartstrings a lot.
Yeah. And give us a lot. I mean, nonstop. Nonstop shit.
Yeah, it was. So that happens. I'm sorry, I did talk about the backpack scene, but I did forget about that. So we get him with the training. He's doing the remote. You know, obviously that's a callback to Luke using the remote on the Millennium Falcon when he first is trying to use. You know, he's got the. He's like, how am I supposed to see it if I've got the blaster shield off? Use your feelings. The Force is all around you. And so there was a nice callback to that. And of course, he gets shot just like Luke did. You know, first gets shot and he's like, ah, what the fuck? And that's what happens with Grogu. He gets shot at the feet and he like bounces back like, oh shit. But then we get to see him flipping around, you know, doing his
little Yoda.
Little Yoda, doing his like flip arounds and stuff, which immediately I was like, if we ever get far enough in the Star Wars universe where we're seeing him just like, I remember the days of training with Master Luke, and he's just like old Yoda type and just like fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope for that day. I really do.
It might come. You never know.
Where he goes to like save like Grandpa Mando or something.
Grandpa Mando.
Grandpa Mando. I can bring you in cold, or I can bring you in warm. The choice is yours.
Is the N1 Starfighter?
It's like, oh, nice 67 Corvette, Grandpa. This was in the first Battle of Naboo. Yeah, it was cool to see him flipping around and actually like starting to get in his own. And we even got another callback where it shows him balancing on the bamboo stick, like Luke was back on Dagobah. You know, when he's sitting there balancing and trying to create the Force. And
I'm glad you brought that up. That was another scene that was like perfect.
Yeah,
with him using the lightsaber, and you could see the lightsaber in Grogu's eyes as he was watching, just like getting mesmerized. I was like, this is fucking incredible. Like the shots in this fucking episode were incredible. It was Star Wars, man. It finally fucking felt like Star Wars.
Even some of the simplest shots, like when he was flying the N1 to go wherever he was going, that angle they have right at like
the cockpit.
At the cockpit, so you can see it, is like the perfect angle.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it makes you feel like you're like, I'm in the goddamn ship. Like you feel like I felt tight, like claustrophobic. I was like, oh my God.
I thought something was gonna
happen. Ben Quadrant arrow.
Lost your power coupling, dude.
The cinematography in this was fantastic. Like you said, cinematography, music, everything. So all that training happens. Obviously, we get the interaction with Ahsoka and Luke, which is still weird to me that they're in the same scene together.
It was awesome.
Second time I cried.
I was just sitting there thinking, like, God damn, she was like his father's like Padawan, and like now she's more of like
a friend of the family, dude.
Like, yeah, it's just like, it was just awesome watching that whole interaction with them too, knowing like, you know, just the relationships between all of them.
She's kind of like the Obi-Wan without being training anybody. She's just kind of like been around.
Yeah.
She says the right things. She, you know, makes people think. Like she's doing all that. Like she had that moment with Mandalorian.
She's
and
like more of a Jedi master than Luke is, even though she's not like a Jedi, but like she just the wisdom and everything she has. Like it's just,
sometimes the student guides the master, dude.
Yeah.
Just everything that she said in this fucking thing was just great.
It's just awesome.
Now you know why I have a dog named after her, dude.
I know.
What are you gonna do?
And it's a beautiful dog too.
I mean, when she said, "I'm a friend of the family," like I was like, "God damn!" And then, dude, when she looked at him, she was like, "So much like your father." I was like, "God damn!" I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this,
Dave. Dave, pull the reins back,
damn,
all right,
man. I'm a fucking 30-year-old man. You got me crying about fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, but she said that because he's like, I just don't know if his heart's in it. And then she responds with that, and you're like, oh my God. Mommy.
Whoa. Whoa.
And then he says, will I ever see you again? Which was interesting because he said it in a way where he was like concerned, like he was afraid that he would never see her again. He's like, well, will I ever see you again? Like it wasn't a question, it was a concern to me. And, you know, she says eventually or probably,
Perhaps,
like, you
yeah.
know, yeah, perhaps, which is kind of cool because I like that they're keeping with her, like just doing her own thing. I was a little skeptical on if they would bring her in or she would like train with him. I like that she's doing her own thing because we're also going to get her show. So obviously I'm like, keep that separate. I want that to be its own entity.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also liked the reasoning for why she was there. It made complete sense that if Mando ever was coming to see Grogu, R2 was to contact Ahsoka to be like that buffer.
Yeah.
To stop
to
it.
intervene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all made complete sense.
It did. And then even when she said it, she's like, yeah, that's why R2 brought you to me. And she starts laughing. And R2's like, fucker. He just starts like bouncing around. He's like, gotcha. What is that Dave Chappelle thing where he's like, gotcha, bitch. So all that happens. She leaves, and
then we get to see Boba Fett.
Finally.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the minute I saw that he was going into Boba Fett's palace, I was like, all right, what's the time marker? I was like, what do we have left?
I did the same exact thing. I did the same thing. I paused. I'm like, up 27 minutes in. All right, time to get to Boba Fett.
I didn't do that. I didn't give a shit, man.
It was a 45-minute episode, and I was like, we get like 13 minutes of Fett.
Yeah.
Not even.
And it wasn't even. Yeah, not even.
It got like a minute.
It was like, hey guys, yeah, he's still alive. He's making plans. All right, back to the syndicate.
Yeah.
And it's funny how, and I feel so bad for this. And we're almost done talking about the episodes. We're getting towards the end here, but why did this show get better once it turned back into The Mandalorian? Like, am I crazy? Like, I feel bad.
I think it's like you're saying, like we know Disney, created some of these episodes. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they fucked around with the first half of the series. I think too that the layout could have been better. Do the flashbacks as like the first episode and a half or something, kind of keep it going. It wouldn't have been as bad, but I think Disney having a hand in it kind of ruined it a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then I think there's a point where it could have just been just really hard to catch up on Boba Fett's story because you have to, right? I mean, we have to like, why is Boba Fett like in Tusken Raider gear when we first see him in The Mandalorian? Like, what's going on? And the first like 4 episodes of this show fill in, kind of give us like these last 2 episodes kind of give us a timeline of how long Boba Fett's been. He was with Tusken Raiders for like 5 years. Like essentially those 4 episodes was like a 5-year time span. Obviously we only get 4 episodes of it, so you don't really think about it. Well, really 2 full episodes because they're all half and half.
Yeah.
But it's really 5 years that goes by where he's with those Tuskens before all this shit starts happening.
Yeah.
So I think it was really hard to stretch that out for a whole series of just making that come up. And now we're like, obviously they tied it in like, oh, now he's fully healed. He doesn't have to have flashbacks anymore. Now we're back on our timeline where we were after The Mandalorian. Like, and it's all one story. Like these characters are all going to be together through the universe. This is how we're doing it. They're going to be seeing each other, crossing over. Fucking, I'm sure Boba Fett will be in Mandalorian season 3. Like,
yeah,
it's tough because it says Boba Fett, but it's really just like a Star Wars story.
That's what it's kind of turned into. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, it's more. We're getting the entire universe of Star Wars now. We're not just getting select specific storylines.
My thing is, I don't give a fuck what the title is, as long as it's good. It's good content. These last 2 episodes have been amazing. I don't give a fuck if it was called the Book of Bosk. Like, I don't care. These are 2 great back-to-back episodes, and this episode was just on another fucking level, which I didn't think was possible after last week. I was kind of like, that's kind of gonna suck if that was the highlight, and we have 2 more weeks to go, but clearly not. But I'm like beyond stoked for this finale.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And so we get that kind of foreshadowing that this fight's going to be coming in next episode. Obviously, we already knew because it's the final one, and that's what they've been building up towards between the Pike Syndicate, all the different cartels on Tatooine and their territories. And then Boba Fett, is sitting there around the round table discussing, with the mods, and Chrysanthemum is there, which was cool to see, everyone just chilling and hearing what he had to say. And Fennec sitting there basically saying, they're cool with like the Pike Syndicate coming to take over all of our territories to do the spice, and just laying low when it's like it's our shit, like we shouldn't do that. And they need muscle, and they introduce Mandalorian to everybody. So Mando comes in, Din Djarin himself comes in, and they're talking about needing foot soldiers. And he goes, I think I have an idea for that, which I figured we were going right back to Cobb Vanth. And he does. He goes back to him, and we get that little deputy coming out. You can't park here. You need to park over by the flats.
I know, little
and
fucker.
he's like, well, where's Cobb Vanth? And he's like, I don't think you heard me, son. And he's like, oh no, I heard you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. No, I did. I just don't give a shit.
And he's like, oh, I heard you. I don't give a fuck. He's like, oh, deputy, get back in there. And, Timothy Oliphant, Cobb Vanth, comes out and talks to him and says, oh, he's new, blah, 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 barely wet between the ears, that whole shtick. And they have that conversation, and they're in the bar, which is funny because that's the first time where you see them is in that bar. But obviously he doesn't have the Boba Fett armor anymore. And they're talking about needing foot soldiers, and Mando's trying to recruit him. You guys are good fighters. You helped me fight this big ass dragon thing. And, we could use you because it's going to be a problem here eventually, whether you call yourself Freetown or whatever. What was the place before? It was like Mos Plagos or something like that.
Some
it was like
shit.
the name.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like the plague from Resident Evil 4.
Los Plagas, dude. I know that. That's when you said that too. I was like, it sounds like that almost.
Every time he said it, I was like, isn't that from Resident Evil?
Quick
That's
question.
like it worked.
Did you think he was going to recruit Jawas when he flew by the Jawa thing?
For like a split second, I did
too, for a split second. And then I realized what Jawas they were, and I was like, ah.
I don't think he'll recruit them. I think that was foreshadowing possibilities that they will be involved somehow, because the old planet is, obviously being harassed by the Syndicate. But I just thought it was funny that they were taking away that skull. And they were
I know, they had the skull. That's out.
He's flying by, and they're like, yeah, look what we got, fucker. Like, they always seem like they're partying. Like they just junk shit and just.
Did you see
party.
They showed a little fur too?
Yeah, on the fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which was cool. So he goes back and talks to him, and basically Cobb Vanth is like, look, like that's no problem with us. Even the bartender's like, that's a fight for city folk. Like, doing the whole southern thing. Like, that's city folk problems. We don't have none of that around here. You hear me? Like, that's the whole scenario. And he's like, all right, look, he's like, I'll see what's going on and I'll get back to you. So Mando takes it for what it is. And he's like, there's no easy way to ask for a favor, but that's cool. He bounces out. Obviously, the bartender comes up to the sheriff, Cobb Vanth, and says, look, this isn't our fight. And he's like, just get everyone who's of fighting age into town and we'll have a discussion, because they might think it's a problem after what I have to say. And then after that, we get the big moment in the show, which was nuts, because I barely know anything about this person, but I know enough where I was like, what in the actual fuck is happening right now? So we see someone, title of the show, Stranger Coming from the Desert, right? I start seeing that hat coming in, and I was like, no. No. Like, I was
no.
like, there's no way. And we see him creeping in. Cobb Vanth tells everyone to go inside. Next thing you know, who do we get? Cad Bane.
Fuck yeah.
The Blue Man himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. I only know him from Clone Wars, but I know enough where I was like, bruh, like, we're getting a live action Cad Bane right now. Like,
Yeah,
he's,
fucking
I know,
badass.
I was like, I know he's still got beef with Boba. So this finale was between him having beef with Boba, the fucking Syndicate, all this shit is going to be amazing. But yeah, he has that Mexican standoff with Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant, the sheriff, has that Mexican standoff with him. And you guys obviously probably know more about Cad Bane than I do, but like, how well did they do that? Because the way that he looked and sounded, I thought was perfect.
God,
They had the actual guy who voices him in the animated series.
It sounded real
perfect.
similar.
Dude, it's Dave Filoni. It's another character Dave Filoni created. He's not gonna fuck it up. That is why I'm I don't want to start talking about the Ahsoka series and Thrawn, but people are excited about Bane being in here, man. Wait until we get fucking Thrawn, dude.
Oh, it's gonna be badass.
I'm gonna be fucking needing new shorts every fucking episode.
But did he voice it and they put that in over an actor, or is he?
I don't know. I never looked into that. I just know, like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, Filoni got him. Like, he fucking got him to do this. He did get Bo-Katan in the Mandalorian. That is actually her who voices the character and all the animated stuff.
Oh.
That is actually physically her in the real world, because Dave's I based this character off you. I might as well have you play her.
And he looks like her.
And she looks just like her, yeah.
Yeah, he used her likeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool because the minute he starts talking, and before he even lifts his head so you can see his eyes, and you see those teeth and the mannerisms
all
of his mouth, I was like,
it was.
It was all perfect.
like, oh my God.
That was a point in the episode when I smiled ear to ear. I was like, this is fucking sick. Oh man. It's just so badass.
Like the way he talks and moved his mouth was beautiful. Like when he was sitting there and he's like, whatever Fett is paying you. Like he never like moved his teeth up and down. It was just like the mouth. Oh my God. It was like, oh shit. Like I don't want to fuck with this dude. I know he can kill Jedi. I know it. I don't want to fuck with him.
Hey, kicked Obi-Wan's ass.
Yeah. And so we get that standoff, and he tells the deputy to go inside. Obviously, moron doesn't fucking listen because he thinks he's hot shit, and he's like, I ain't leaving you out here alone, Sheriff.
He got fucking smoked.
Yeah, you did.
3 shots.
You moron.
So, obviously the 3 of them are sitting there doing the whole like, do-do-do-do-do, wah, 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 like, who's going to do it first? And then, of course,
beautiful Western scene, dude. Star Wars and Western. It was just like, fuck.
Oh, it was amazing. And then, obviously, the newbie decides to go for it first. Cad Bane shoots fucking Cobb Vance, Timothy Olyphant's character, the sheriff, and then fucking 1 shot to him and like 3 or 4 shots to the deputy, the new guy. Which
I actually thought was great because Cobb's known for having a quick trigger. Like Bane knows him.
Yep.
And like was Filoni doing that to show like maybe Cobb is fast enough to get him, but the deputy was totally distracting him because you could see him like looking over right before all that happened.
It's interesting too because it looked like he kind of shot him in the shoulder.
Yeah, he's definitely not dead.
That's exactly what I thought. When the way he shot him, I was like, okay, it looked like he winged him. And now that you say that too, I'm wondering too if that does kind of set something up almost later, like kind of get a little rematch or something.
That was the first thing I was thinking of.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I think we might see something in the finale because the look that bartender had is foreshadowing to me where he was like, okay, like I didn't want to be in a party of this. But now after what just happened, like I'm ready to go fuck someone up because you just shot the boss. Like you shot the man who saved this town, went out and did what he had to do and is trying to help these people. That was that face right there. Like, well, shit, now I'm in.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't, but you got me.
Yeah, you just had to ask one question. What would you do?
What would you do?
If your leader was shot by Cad Bane, what would you do?
Costs $1.05.
Freedom costs a blaster shot. Yeah, I did like the respect on that, where even though the young dude was going for the gun first, he still went after the sheriff to like take him out because he knows, which also shows how good he is at what he does.
Yeah,
like,
well, he's
like,
old. He's got to be old as fuck in this episode.
Yeah, he was the like second best bounty hunter behind Jango Fett until Jango Fett got his head chopped off, and then by default he was like the most legendary bounty hunter, and he's like the only bounty hunter. Well, I think Boba Fett actually went up against some Jedi too, but like one of the only ones that actually could fight Jedi.
Yeah,
and
but Boba Fett wasn't known to be a Jedi killer.
No.
Bane
he wasn't specifically. Plus,
he's got the tubes, so he can't get force.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah, it's fucking sweet.
It's beautiful. His character, he looks so good in live action. Obviously, he looked great in the animated series. In all 3 that he was in, because he was even in the Bad Batch, which I didn't realize because I never finished it, but I did when I was looking up more stuff on him that he was in the Bad Batch. So now I got to go finish that because I want to see what he did in that.
Yeah, there's a Mexican standoff in that series too, and he shits on the dude.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see. Like, because I saw him in there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that."
I'm pretty sure he tells, even though Hunter's like, those super clone or whatever, he's like, "I've faced 1 million clones. I know every move you're gonna make." I was like, "Oh my god,
that is the most badass." I have ever heard.
There it is.
There it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's what got me so hyped was the actual like crossover from animated to like actual real life depiction.
Yeah.
And like it was fucking solid. And that's why I was like, oh yes, this is fucking like
Yeah.
it's getting me going.
Wait till we get Throg.
Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be so badass.
Because I mean that was the end of the episode, and
No, dude.
well,
something else
no,
happened
no,
after that.
yeah,
Come on
okay,
now.
that was the big part, and then obviously at the end we get after that happens, we go back to what we assume could be Yavin 4, wherever they're building the temple. Luke's sitting there with Grogu inside the temple, which I assume because they just show them
Well,
inside.
hold on, dude.
What?
You're skipping a whole part. When the Pikes blow up the fucking casino, dude.
Oh, that was before that.
I thought that was the very ending. Was it after?
Oh, the
Luke
very
and
end.
Grogu?
No, it was
Okay,
before
the very
that.
end
Okay.
is okay. My bad. I got them switched. I thought I remember
was
that, but I
before
thought
that.
it was after.
Fucking
Okay.
moron.
I know I'm ruining everything. We're not. That was the only 150
damn.
view
Whole
episode we'll
episode's
ever
over.
have. Yeah, we're gonna
Wow.
have 12 views.
It's okay, dude. It's been a long week.
Been a long week. So yeah, the Pike Syndicate shows up to that bar that's over there in Boba Fett's territory in the city, and they
Mos Espa.
roll Mos Espa. They roll in with the Cantina. There's just two of them. They got a Cantina that they got hanging
You
in
forgot
there.
your
Too
Cantina.
much tuna.
Too much tuna. I didn't think about that. That's hilarious.
So they go and sit down at a table. Obviously, what was it? Jennifer Biel. I'm sorry, Jennifer Biel's character. Who's
I was
the
like, wait a minute, I don't
Jessica
remember Jessica
Biel.
Biel being in this. I would remember
It
that.
was Justin Timberlake.
yeah, Justin Timberlake was the one asking if he can clean their helmets. he was the orange Twi'lek. May I
Nice.
buff your helmet? So yeah, the Jennifer Biel's character, the Twi'lek who owns the bar, comes in and she sees that they walk in, so she kind of says, "Hey, go over there." And you can tell she's trying to like let them like feel them out, like what the fuck are they doing in here? And sends the Twi'leks over there, and they ask, "Can we clean your helmets?" Blah blah blah. They say no, so they come back and they're sitting there for a minute, and then they leave and they start walking out, and we get the C-3PO type droid looking up, going, "Oh, sir, you forgot your Cantina." And then just boom, and immediately I already knew it was a bomb.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was like
Yeah.
no brainer.
But did you see the brilliance of Filoni in that scene? Did you notice it?
You'll have to tell me.
Max. They made a good point to show that Max was not in the bar.
Max who?
The elephant that plays the piano, dude.
Oh.
He's been in that every time they go there. He's been there. But they made sure to go through every member of the band, and Max was nowhere to be found.
He had a
So
night
he
off.
survived. Brilliant. That's the first thing I said. I was like, oh, at least Max isn't there.
But what does
The
that
whole
have to
thing
do with
exploded.
anything, though?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It just
We just had a historical character survive. Imagine if he had to work the night shift. He would have been dead.
dude, he's the house pianist, dude. He gets to work whatever shift he fucking wants.
He's made it through Jabba's palace. He's now survived a near-death experience here. This guy cannot be killed.
His skills are unmatched. They need him.
Yes.
They got to
Come on, dude. It's Max. Come on.
They're like, hey, take the night off, man. I think we might get fucking bombed or raided or something tonight. Like, you need to. The
Got
Pikes
a
are
bad
acting
feeling
crazy.
about this, dude.
Here's a bag of peanuts. Stay home. No, I didn't notice that because I didn't think there was any like correlation to anything or connection
Come
like it
on,
mattered.
dude.
I didn't know.
Max.
The only Max I know is my dog Max. That's it.
Less important to me.
Ouch. No, I'll let him know that.
Even
hurts.
less important to me. How's that one?
I don't even want to know how you feel about your real child.
I don't want to know how I feel about it.
Okay, so that happens. The bar gets blown up. We don't know anything as far as like who's dead, who might be injured. They might do something with that, or everyone's just fried. We don't know yet.
It looked
But
like
just-
everybody was fucking fried.
Yeah.
That place fucking blew the fuck up, dude.
It looked like Owen and Uncle Ben.
Yeah. Pretty
That's what it
much.
looked like.
we're gonna come back and just see like the Twi'lek hanging out there. Like, well, I saw a picture once where it was like when you leave your toast in the toaster too long, and it was just a picture of them on the ground. And then I think someone replied, or they like photoshopped it, where they put like two pieces of toast like photoshopped on the ground in front of their like domicile hut. Luke was like, no, and he's got like butter in his hands and he didn't make it in time.
Oh, that's funny.
I love the internet. So that happens, and then like I was saying earlier, we now go to Grogu and Luke sitting in what I assume is the temple that was created, the original temple that they were making in the beginning of the episode. And he tells him he has a choice. He's like, this is what Mandalorian wanted you to have. It's a gift, which we see is like little chainmail for him, little tiny mithril armor, like in Lord of the Rings. Here you go, Frodo. You know, here's some tiny armor for you. That's what I thought of. It was like Bilbo
That's
giving
the
him
Frodo.
What, you never had second breakfast? So he tells him that that's what he wants him to have, and then says, you know, or, you know, you can, he's like, there's this. And I was like, oh, Yoda's lightsaber immediately. Yeah. I was like, it's the Chode saber. We got it. And then he ignites it. And he's like, this is my master's. He goes, you could take the armor. He's like, if you do, you go back with your friend, the Mandalorian, you know, where you'll be foregoing the teachings and giving into, you know, your feelings and connections with others. He's like, or you can take the saber and, you know, follow in the ways of the Jedi, and I will train you and you'll be the first in this academy. And then, of course,
he does also make a point to let him know that how long he lives, though, too, if he does, you know, not go to see the Mandalorian or anything like that.
That is true.
I thought that was very important that Luke threw that kind of in there, that caveat in there, that I thought it kind of showed how, because Luke to me was always kind of the culmination of like taking the good parts of the Jedi religion and then discarding the bad parts, especially like about the emotional attachment stuff, like because he clearly used that to get Vader back and everything. And like I thought that was a very important piece because it showed Luke like kind of on that path still, way before we see him in the new movies too, where he just kind of, you know, rejects it and throws all that shit out the window, whatever bullshit they had going on there.
Page turners, they were not.
Yeah, so I like that. I like that they kind of had. I like that conversation right there. Is like I just love the way it was. Like it was definitely Luke and how he is as a Jedi and like how he's trying to recreate the Jedi too. I really like that conversation that he threw that in there.
Yeah, Filoni, dude.
He brings the teachings of the religion while also putting a realistic perspective on it.
Yeah,
you know, like, and I love that because it does make sense. You know, he's like a short time for you is a lifetime for someone else, which is the cleanest and purest way of explaining it. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, like it's like say in vampire movies when they're like, you know, like, oh, you want to fall in love. It's like, well, you're never going to die. And you're constantly going to see your loved ones and people you care about just die over an eternity of time. Do you want to live like that? You know, it's like, it's tough. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's a very good point, Nick. And then we get the close-up shot and then boom, that's it. And then you see directed by Dave Filoni and you're like, you son of a bitch.
You've done it again.
You've done it again. And it was just a fantastic episode. Like a lot of good callbacks. It was Dave Filoni's bread and butter. Ever since I've paid attention to who he is, thankfully to, you know, you guys and bringing that up to me, it blew my mind. It was great. It was really, really great. But obviously I want to get into quick to end this out. We're going to do predictions of what we think is going to happen in the finale. How do you think this is going to break down?
But first, I got a question for you too. What do you think Grogu chooses?
I think he chooses the armor.
I kind of think the same.
I do not.
He's gonna. I feel like that just because he already kind of seems a little bit detached from it, and maybe it's a little bit of me hoping that he kind of like takes what Luke said is like, all right, you know what, I'll go do this, do what I got to do, and then when I'm ready for this, like, and I'm more focused on what I should be doing here, maybe I'll go back to the Jedi shit.
I think he takes the armor and Mando dies eventually. And then he goes back to the Jedi Order later on.
I think that's a hot take. I think he takes I think it's more of a test than an
actual choice.
I think he chooses a lightsaber. They do some training, and then my bold ass prediction, is Luke shuts this shit down with the pikes.
You think he'll get involved?
Yeah.
Really?
I think we're getting Han, and I think we're getting fucking Chewie.
That's what I was thinking. Like Grogu would take the armor, go to Tatooine or whatever, and yeah, Luke would somehow be involved with the pikes as well in this like last episode.
I think he takes the armor and Mando dies, and eventually that will lead him going back to the Jedi Order. Obviously, he'll have to figure out how that works. But when Mando dies, trying to save what he thinks might kill Grogu in the final battle, awakens Grogu's like awareness of his force powers, and he just fucks up the Syndicate somehow.
Goes Super Saiyan 2 and just
he dies in this next episode when they have a Mandalorian season 3 scheduled.
No, I mean, okay.
Now
not
that
die.
might be a stretch, bro.
That takes place before this season.
I forgot that there was a third season guarantee. Okay, he gets hurt or something. Like I just
He
know.
gets seriously maimed but not killed.
He breaks every bone in his body. Doesn't Ray boop it.
But because of the armor, it holds it together like a big jelly stack, and he
They
can
throw
still
him in the
move.
back to tank.
What are you making, Mando soup? Okay, fuck my prediction. I'm not.
You're out.
I'm like, yeah, he's gonna die. Oh, season 3. Never mind. I'm just don't listen to me. I'm like the Alex Jones of predictions. He's gonna die in the next episode. Okay.
Actually, that would make you the non-Alex Jones of predictions. Most of his predictions are right.
It's true.
Except for the frogs turning gay.
Actually, no,
True.
that one did come out true. They're not gay per se,
Well,
but they are more feminine.
yeah.
That actually did come out to be true.
They did change their sex, yeah, because of the
That's great.
atrazine.
Okay, we're not getting into that.
Sorry,
but
I mean scientifically that was true.
That was, yeah.
But
I thought Fauci was the science.
Fauci is a science.
yeah, I think he takes the lightsaber. I think Luke ends up taking him, and they get involved.
That does sound plausible. It does, but I still think he takes the armor.
It'll be like an endgame moment where all hope is lost.
And Luke comes out and he's like, "I
Yeah,
am Luke Skywalker."
yeah.
It'll be interesting. I'm serious to see how the Pikes fight back. I just want to see them get fucking just.
I always
Oh
see
my-
Cad Bane and Boba go at it.
Dude, you know what's funny? You say that there was it was never used, but Filoni and George Lucas had like a scene drawn up where they had like a Western style shoot off, Boba versus Bane, and they both hit each other.
That's where he got the dent on
And
his
that's
helmet,
where he gets
isn't
the
it?
dent, yeah. So,
Interesting.
but
It'll
the
be
dent's
cool.
already there.
I think we're gonna get a big epic battle at the end, so it'll be cool. I'm predicting that I'm gonna be rating this like 9.9 if they do it right out of 10. Because
Yeah.
like you said, nothing can be perfect. There will be something in there where I'll be like, that was unnecessary, but everything else was beautiful. I think that's what we're gonna get if they do it right.
I can't even tell you where my gripe was in this episode, to be quite honest with you.
Like you don't know where it would be.
If I needed to sit there and watch and critique something, I don't know if I could.
Well, we'll have to see
honestly.
what the finale is, because that's the main question. But so far, we've gotten a good 2 episodes before the finale. So obviously, is there anything else you guys want to wrap up in this? Because I think we probably went into decent enough detail about each scene.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, Nicholas is done.
That's it. That's a wrap, brah. I think we covered everything from front to back.
Do you think we get Han and Chewie,
There's a possibility.
Nicholas?
It'd be
I'd give
pretty
it a-
sweet.
I'm literally giving it a 50-50 split. Like I don't know which
I
way,
think
but
there's
it's
a 70% chance.
If it's Han, I want Han like Harrison Ford. Now I want no CGI, no work done, no nothing. I want that old ass fuck to act his part. That's what I want.
I forget her fucking name. I think we will see the bitch from Han Solo. What was her name?
the one that was a dragon queen in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Forget her name. I know you're talking about though.
I
It's
think
like
we will see
Amelia
her.
something.
'Cause
Possible.
what is that? Crimson Dawn that she's a part of or whatever.
Yeah, Crimson Dawn, Black Sun. It's all like. But
That and also she had-
the Pikes hired Bane, obviously, to help be like, muscle. Who hired him? The Pikes didn't do it.
Holy shit! Do you think
Think
Maul
that-
would come back?
Maul's
She had a
dead,
conver-
bro. Maul's like legitimately dead.
Oh,
Don't say some stupid ass shit like that again, dude.
I'm gonna stop.
He's got to keep up his track record, dude.
I'm gonna stop I
You know
just
why you don't
remember-
know that?
because I didn't watch Rebels. There you go. I'm just
Fights
gonna get a
Obi-Wan in the
t-shirt.
desert, dude.
I'm just gonna have a T-shirt made. I didn't watch Rebels. Don't judge me. That's gonna be the
You
T-shirt.
should watch that fight though.
I will watch that fight now that I know about it. Yeah.
That is also Dave Filoni, of course. But it's one of the best things ever.
I'm literally gonna watch it probably
It's
tomorrow.
only like a 2-second fight, dude.
Oh,
And it's
easy enough.
fucking incredible. So yeah.
Well, I will definitely check it out. But with that, since we got no more to break down on this, like and subscribe. Let us know what you think of the reactions / reviews that we did on this episode. We got the finale coming up next Wednesday, or this following Wednesday coming up. And yeah, we are going to get this in as fast as possible because this is going to be a fucking huge episode. I want to thank you all for coming back to, view the videos. Like we said, we had a great viewership in the last video. Love to keep that up. Thank you so much for all the support on this. The comments, whether they're negative or positive, we appreciate it either way. Make sure you check out the social medias, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, here on the Discord. Come hang out with us, talk with us when we're playing video games, doing whatever. We would gladly love to have you in here and get some feedback, and you can say whatever you want. We don't give a shit. It's an open forum, but you may get some things said back. So prepare yourself. Welcome to Thunderdome. But yes, thank you again. You all have a great fucking weekend, and we will catch you on the next one.
Deuces.